So joining me now to discuss this decision is Lonsdale, founding partner of 8VC. Joe, good to see you. So there are a lot of issues here that you list, some of which have been going on in California for a long time, some of which have become exacerbated certainly over the past 5 years, public safety, I would say. But what tipped you over the edge?
You know, I think what tipped it over the edge, John, is it's a lot easier to work from anywhere and to do business from anywhere. And you know, frankly, San Francisco has gotten a lot worse in the last couple of years. It's pretty obvious it's not a place we want to raise our family.
I have experienced the shift in San Francisco, not so much in 2020, because I haven't been doing a lot of traveling, but over the past couple of years, as you said. What about the political component here? You say in the op-ed that the intolerant far left in California is part of what drove you out. I don't know how much of that is critical mass in Silicon Valley, because even though people talk about liberal attitudes in Silicon Valley companies, a lot more of it's libertarian and moderate in the actual companies, right?
Well, you know, I think there's definitely people of all sorts of viewpoints in Silicon Valley, but there's a really, really strong intolerant far left where if you speak out, if you try to say, guys, here's what the solution could be for homelessness, and it's different than what they think, then they demonize you. And that 10% of the population that demonizes you becomes so loud in Silicon Valley that most of my friends, it's not worth the effort to speak up. It's not worth the effort to try to get involved, because you're just going to be attacked. You're just going to be made to look, you know, like a bad person, because everyone's going to be coming after you. So I think it has silenced a lot of responsible leaders in my generation.
At what point does this start to become a structural risk for the California economy? Apple just built a campus there in Cupertino. Google and Apple are building out more in San Jose. Adobe continues to invest there. Yes, they've got some investments in facilities in places like Austin, but there's really a lot of infrastructure there, a lot of college graduates and disciplines they're looking for. But when does it become dangerous?
You know, it's a structural risk for California right now, because what top 1% in California pays almost half the taxes there. And so they actually can't afford to be losing as many of the builders they're losing. And frankly, even though some of these people may not even be paying that many taxes, the ones who are building things are the ones who are going to make the economy work there in the future. And I have at least 50 people I know who've left this year who are builders who are saying, this is not the place I want to build right now. It's too hard to build new houses. It's too expensive to employ people here. So I think right now it's becoming an issue. And you know, I think they're realizing this. I think the moderates are worried, but the problem is the moderates aren't in charge. The far left is in charge. So it's going to be a mess.
Joe, it's Kelly here. And as I was reading your piece, I was thinking about the exodus of people out of a lot of these markets, whether it's San Francisco or New York City, and a lot of people in other states who are worried about the influx and how it's going to change their politics and their policies. You know, I don't know if you should be required to stay. Yeah, go ahead.
I got a lot of notes on this. We got lots of unsolicited notes saying, "Dear Mr. Lonsdale, please don't bring your blue voting to Texas." It's actually, they're very welcoming here overall, but we have some worried people.
So I guess my question is, I'm just curious, Joe, because it was such a thoughtful piece. Have your personal politics evolved over the years as well? I mean, are you somebody who would have been on the more progressive side of things when you were younger, and that has changed? And I wonder, you know, what you would say about your, your friends, colleagues, kind of, as everybody has watched this all play out, if it's changing their minds about things.
Well, you know, I've become more of a realist. There's like ideal things the way it should work, and there's how things actually work in the real world, and how do you get things done. I have a lot of friends who kind of started off not thinking hard about these philosophical questions, not thinking hard about, you know, the history of our country and what was unique about America, who now appreciate liberty a lot more than they did. They appreciate a free society that works bottom up a lot more than they did. So a lot more of them are becoming a lot more moderate and really want to preserve the free enterprise system while taking care of people. And so I think a lot of leaders are seeing this, you know, but the challenge actually is actually very different for these places. People don't realize in Texas that if they hadn't had us coming here the last 20 years, you know, Senator Cruz would have lost to Beto. So it's actually interesting that people who are choosing to move on average have thought about these issues and are deciding to support a free society a little bit more. Not that those two candidates represent that necessarily, but there are more people who are moving who don't necessarily represent progressive values when they leave California.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.